Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio. Thank you for joining me today. Today, we're going to talk about how do you stay profitable in this world where price pressure is always there. It's constant. People are trying to drive down your price. Well, today I want to look at something different. Just kind of take a different viewpoint. If you're in a B2B business, this is going to be useful to you, especially if you run a business. Let's say you have a print shop, or let's say you run a facility where you have a lot of employees. You'll have a lot of overhead. This is going to help you because I understand the price pressures associated with running a business. It's expensive to run a business. Price pressures are coming from different angles, right? If you study Michael Porter's model, you got your competitors who are trying to drive your price down by offering better pricing. Then the market itself, buyers are wanting you to lower the price. Your suppliers are also raising their prices, selling to you. So now you have that price pressure on that side. And also you have to deal with substitute products or alternative products in the marketplace. All this creates a price struggle that we as business owners have to deal with. So one of the solutions I want to partake with you today, or at least share with you today rather, is I want to share with you a different way of figuring out how we can become more profitable. And it begins with the first step. The first step is to be honest with ourselves and acknowledge that we have unprofitable clients. Now, that's right. We have clients who simply do not help us in our business. They cost us more to maintain than, let's say, the high-end clients who actually buy more products and are more profitable. In other words, you have clients right now who simply are eating away at your margins slowly, and they're impacting your margins. They're sucking your time away, and the slim profit margins you do make from them, if you make any at all, is really impacting your business. So what I want you to start thinking about is look at your customer base today. Look at your customer base today and say to yourself, do I have customers who are unprofitable? And the answer is going to come back probably yes. You'll probably have maybe 20%. If we can use that average number, round number, of 20% of the customers you currently have are not helping you generate money. They're probably profit neutral, which means you make nothing, or they're really driving you into a hole a little bit because they cost so much to service and maintain. So step number one, acknowledge that you have unprofitable clients. Knowing that, I want you to make a decision to make them profitable or get rid of them. Let me say that again. I want you to make a decision to either make them profitable or we're going to get rid of them. We want to keep profitable clients. We want to get rid of those who are not profitable. So again, step one, acknowledge that you have unprofitable clients. Step two is to make a decision. Either we keep them and make them profitable, or we get rid of them. How do we do that? Step number three, we unbundle your value chain. Yes, your value chain. In other words, we're going to look at all the services you offer. I want you to look at all the different elements of value that you offer your clients today and ask yourself, do I really need to offer all these value points, all these value elements to all of my customers? And you're going to come back with the conclusion that you probably don't. So step number four is that you're going to create a tier of service or tiers of service, right? You're going to really look at all the stuff that you offer, all the different value elements that you offer, and now we're going to start making them tiers. In other words, you're going to create 3 different tiers, in this case, of where you want to place these customers. You want to look at what you currently offer. You want to look at how often do you offer it? How fast do you offer these services? And those are the things that we can play with to create different tiers of services. Now, let me give you a physical example, a tangible example, so you can kind of wrap your brain around what I'm really trying to tell you. Let's say that you have a t-shirt printing business. You have a t-shirt printing business, and your margins are slim. And then step one, you acknowledge that you have unprofitable clients. In other words, you go back into your database, you look at last year's numbers, look at who bought from you, and then realize, who is impacting your business and who is helping you make money. And you'll be able to see those numbers, right? The high volume people may be an indication that they're profitable. Doesn't mean they're necessarily profitable because they're high volume, but sometimes, in many cases, high volume buyers are profitable and low volume buyers are not profitable. Okay, well, let's begin segmenting these out. We got low volume versus mid volume versus high volume, whatever that may be in the t-shirt printing business. Now, you also deliver, because you're a great service provider as well, you may be giving 2 to 3 day or 4 day or 5 day turnaround. Let's say you give a 5 day turnaround on any order placed with your company. Let me slow down here. You give 5 days turnaround for any, that being the key word, any order placed with your company. Also, if you're shipping locally, you ship for free. Okay, that's kind of the scenario. You have clients who have high runs, medium runs, low runs. You have a 5 day guaranteed turnaround for any of your customers, and you ship locally for free. Well, what you can then begin to doing when I talk about unbundling your value chain, is to look at those rules of engagement, those rules of operations. And then what I want you to do is unbundle them, unpack them, and create 3 tiers of services. For example, if the number of items asked to be printed, is less than a given unit number, then maybe you charge a different price. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, Victor, some companies already do that. It's amazing how many companies don't, because they're desperate for business. It doesn't matter the level of volume, as long as it meets a minimum, let's say 25, they'll take the order. What I want you to start thinking about, if you're a business owner in this scenario, is unbundle that. So, it's not about a minimum of 25. If it doesn't meet a certain level, a certain threshold, then maybe we don't want that business. So maybe what you can say, and again, we're not going to reject the business, but we want to make unprofitable clients profitable again. So what do? We now create tiers of delivery. For an example, a profitable client has runs of over, let's say, 500 units. That's what you've analyzed. If they have runs between, let's say, 200 and 500, they're somewhat profitable, right? They're almost profit neutral. But anything less than 200 is unprofitable. Now that we know that we've created 3 tiers of service, we're going to price them accordingly. And again, a lot of companies do this, right? Anything less than 200 will charge you this much. Anything between 2 and 500 will charge you this much. 500 above will charge you that much. Perfect. Now, when it comes to your guaranteed turnaround, here's where we're going to unbundle it a little bit. Instead of guaranteeing it to everybody, what you're going to do is anybody above 500 units, you're going to give them that guarantee, because you'll be profitable with that deal. Now, those in the middle, 2 to 500, well, maybe you give them a 7 to 10 day guarantee, unless they want to pay more. This is key. Separate the 5 day guarantee for units 500 and above. And when you look at those who have 200 to 500 units only, guarantee them only 7 to 10 day turnaround. But you also offer them the option to get 5 day turnaround if they pay a little more. Now, let's look at the lower segment, right? Anything less than 200. If you're looking at something less than 200, well, guess what? They're going to pay more, obviously. But when it comes to turnaround time, you're going to give them 14 days, period. Now, that's where you're going to put them. These are the 3 layers. And what you've just done is you've unbundled your value chain. As opposed to giving it to everybody, now you're very selective who you give that value to. You can also do this with shipping. If it's 500 and above, it's free shipping locally, or charge something shipping nationally, but you don't charge for handling. If they're 2 to 500, again, maybe we can charge the same for shipping, but maybe charge a little bit more for handling. And if anything's less than 200 units, well, definitely they're going to pay for handling. And again, what may happen during this process is that you have 3 outcomes. First of all, you're going to protect your high volume, most profitable clients, because you're giving them 5 days turnaround and everybody else gets something less. That means you've shifted your attention to those clients who you want to keep. So you're protecting the good clients automatically. Now, let's look at the bad clients. Let's look at the lower tier. Let's look at the 200 and less. What you've just done is that you're now forcing them to pay a little more. They got to pay a little more in terms of if they want certain units, less than 200 or whatever it may be, you're going to charge them more. They're not going to get the 5-day turnaround, which means that's going to save you some money because now you don't have to turn that product around. Your operations costs will be reduced because you don't have to turn around low volume product. By giving them extended time, in other words, you're pushing them out further, guess what? They're going to have to wait the 2 weeks. Now, they're going to have to make a decision. Either pay you to get into the 5-day turnaround range, pay extra, which is good for you, or they're going to decide to take their business elsewhere. So they either move into paying, which means they become profitable clients, or they will leave. And the fact that they leave is okay. We need to be okay with people leaving as business people. Again, if a business unit was failing, if your company was failing and non-profitable, wouldn't you shut it down? I would. So if you look at a customer as an economic unit and they're not profitable, after unbundling your value chain, you see what's going on, you see that they're not profitable, then what you need to do is fire that client. So again, hope this helps. I want you to start thinking about your cost, your value chain, and how you can begin to create tiered services to make yourselves more profitable. That's it for the Sales Influence Podcast. Don't forget to leave me some feedback. By the way, getting great international feedback. So to my friends internationally, thank you, especially for leaving a lot of tips on YouTube, a lot of questions. Also, the feedback on iTunes. Thank you again. I really do appreciate you. Don't forget, I'm on iTunes, I'm on Stitcher, I'm on YouTube. So any feedback you give, I would appreciate it. Also, check out my sales training website. You know the one, seminarsonselling.com. Or I would really love you to come to my salesmasteryintensive.com workshop. 12 people, 12 hours, 12 sales modules. You'll get one-on-one direct coaching from me. Lastly, I want to thank you for listening. This is Victor Antonio, always reminding you, selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care.
Every manager can feel it. The difference between a motivated, value-driven sales team and one that's stuck in a rut. CEOs know the difference too. They can see it clearly in the profit and loss columns. The question is, how do you get your team to this elite level? Is there something extra you can do to break through the remaining resistance and equip them with the right mindset to grow your business? Yes, there is. But you're not going to do it with one of those cheesy inspirational speakers or some self-proclaimed guru. What you need is someone with a real business track record to deliver key insights in a captivating way, to give your team the right tools for selling in today's tough marketplace. Enter Victor Antonio, experienced executive, innovative thinker, compelling speaker. He's ready to deliver the message you need your people to hear, not with a canned speech, but a customized, dynamic keynote designed to deliver results. Bring Victor Antonio to your next event before the competition does.